And good Monday to you. It's time once again for RFD Illinois. I'm DeLoss Yankee.
I'm Rita Frazier. We have a guest.
Oh, that's right. Let's turn on the microphone. Intern extraordinaire. Go ahead and reintroduce yourself. We heard you on Friday, but go right ahead.
I'm Carrie Slagle.
Carrie Slagle.
Carrie Slagle, the strong sensation from Prairie Central High School. Now, I should have asked a follow-up question. Because you said last week at one point you took meal to your dad while he was planting.
Yeah.
So what is that? Is that bologna sandwich, or does it depend on the day, or how does that go?
It depends on the day, but that night it was actually ribs, so.
Ribs?
Yeah.
Were there any wet wipes or napkins or anything like that?
There were a lot of napkins.
There were a lot of napkins. That's good. There was one time that Brent Kamerlink and I took my dad lunch, and there was gravy involved and all that sort of thing. It was Tupperware and it had a lid, and we didn't have silverware.
Oh, and what'd your dad say?
Well, he asked for the silverware, and we just looked at each other like, yeah, we're not very bright. And so and then we had to go back and ask him a question, and he was basically, lapping it up like a dog. But, because, you have gravy there.
Gravy.
It's gravy. You're not going to say no to it.
Right on.
So, plenty coming up here, including Carrie has a piece talking about mold for those that had too much precipitation and then with the heat that came after that. So
yeah, looking forward to that story.
Good things to be aware of. Plus, the return of the corner economist and markets and weather, all on a Monday, RFD, Illinois.
With this week's edition of Farm Week, the early word, here's DeLoss Yankee.
It's no wonder farmers have struggled to plant crops this season. Average Illinois precipitation in May totaled nearly 8.5 inches, almost 4 inches more than normal. Turn to Farm Week to learn more about the third wettest May on record. Sonia Harper, the new chair of the Illinois House Agriculture and Conservation Committee, increased her agricultural knowledge recently during a visit with her adopted Christian County Farm Bureau farmers. Learn more about the Chicago legislator and her desire to stay connected with Illinois farmers in the latest edition of Farm Week.
No other Farm Weekly in Illinois has as many people on the ground in Illinois covering Illinois agriculture for you with the depth on key issues to help keep you profitable. And don't forget, you can get daily or even more frequent updates online anytime at farmweeknow.com.
We're back here on RFD Illinois. I'm Rita Frazier. President Trump is in the Midwest tomorrow, campaigning in Iowa while touting his EPA's approval last month of year-round E15 sales. RFD Washington correspondent Matt Kay reports.
The president will tour the Southwest Iowa Renewable Energy Ethanol Plant in Council Bluffs less than 2 weeks after his EPA gave final approval to summertime sales of E15 gasoline, a key Trump campaign promise. Growth Energy CEO Emily Skor will join Trump for the tour. Group spokesman John Fear. The
president's going to Iowa because he's going to roll out and celebrate what his administration just did to make E15 legal year-round.
Fear says the impact on the industry and corn growers could be dramatic.
If you look at the growth potential for E15 long-term, you could see up to 7 billion new gallons of ethanol demand materialize. And now you take that back to a farmer at the farm gate, that could mean 2 billion bushels, more than 2 billion bushels of additional corn demand, which would have a great and dramatic impact on the price of corn and what's happening right now in rural America.
All fueled by demand for a fuel that's slightly less expensive than E10 gas and some 15 cents a gallon cheaper than pure gasoline. Fear says others possibly attending include USDA Secretary Sonny Perdue and EPA Administrator Andrew Wheeler, though neither had been confirmed as of Friday morning. For the RFD Radio Network, Matt Kay, Washington.
Thanks, Matt. Well, from the nation's capital to the state capital, this week is FFA week in Springfield. The state convention starts tomorrow. We'll see lots of old friends and meet new ones for sure as hundreds of Blue Jackets come to Springfield for that state convention. Courtney Gerstenecker will be home teaching at the Carlisle FFA chapter this fall. She has been teaching in Kentucky at Webster County High School for the last 3 years. This year, an opportunity to come back home to Carlisle, Illinois, and teach agriculture.
Honestly, Rita, I never thought that would be an opportunity, at least for a long time, because I didn't want to take over for my mom or Mr. Jacobs because they've done such a phenomenal job. I never thought it would be an opportunity, but I am so excited to be returning home to Carlisle as an additional teacher working with my mom and Mr. Jacobs because, I've had my time in Kentucky to really build myself as an educator to now come home and continue building that with new opportunities for students.
So we welcome back home Courtney Gerstenecker, who will be starting this fall as the third in that winning team there, joining her mom, Tammy, and Mr. Jacobs. We'll have more FFA stories, and you can read more on farmweeknow.com. Well, with all of the rain this spring, mold could be an issue. Our summer intern, Carrie Slagle, files this report.
They say when it rains, it pours. But Dwayne Friend, Extension Educator for Energy and Environmental Stewardship, says when it rains, it spores. Mold was the timely topic of conversation with Dwayne since this 2019 rain has shown favorable conditions for mold. He explains that when water leaks into places like crawl spaces or basements, mold can start to grow within 24 to 48 hours. The best way to tackle this is to get the water out quickly. However, this isn't always an option. In the case that mold does grow, you're looking at remediation.
The big thing to remember, too, with mold is on smaller jobs, you might be able to do it yourself, but for large jobs, it might be better, even though it may cost some money, it may be better health-wise to have a professional service come in and take care of those kind of things because they know how to control where those spores may go in terms of once you start trying to clean them, wipe them off, those kind of things, because otherwise those spores will just go everywhere.
If you're unsure about dealing with the mold yourself, you can check out the U.S. EPA website. After looking at the website, you can then determine if it's best to handle the mold yourself or hand it off to the professionals.
And again, one of the big things, too, is it may be something that you think, I can do this myself, but you got that time frame to think about, too. If it's something that really needs to be taken care of quickly to keep the situation from being worse, it's another reason that you may want to consider some type of professional service to get it done quickly.
When dealing with mold, it's important to consider the factors so you can make the decision that fits best for your experience, schedule, and health. So maybe you have mold or maybe you don't. But either way, it's important to keep mold in mind. This way, next time it rains, you'll know exactly what to do when it spores. I'm Carrie Slagle, summer intern at the RFD Radio Network.
Thanks, Carrie. And DeLoss and the Corner Economist will be back. This is RFD, Illinois.
RFD Radio Network's Jim Taylor connects rural routes for you. You can trust Jim every morning for your overnight markets. He gets up early to help keep farmers on top of their game. Here's a bit about his rural routes.
I have the opportunity to cover something different every day and provide listeners with up-to-date markets, news they need to do their job and be successful, from legislative issues to crop updates and weather, of course.
Be it routes or routes, RFD Radio, FarmWeekNow.com, and Farm Week keep you connected.
The Illinois economy runs on our homegrown agricultural products. Our dairy, beef, pork, corn, and soybeans grow the agricultural industry by nearly $20 billion each year. But we don't just grow Illinois, we grow North America. Canada and Mexico account for over $45 billion in U.S. agricultural exports, and they support more than 1 million American jobs. Exports to Canada and Mexico matter to everyone in the agriculture and food industries.
A message from Illinois farmers and their checkoff programs.
A lot of real estate companies like to claim they'll go the extra mile to help you buy or sell farm and recreational properties. But let's face it, most of them don't have the experience to get the job done. Truth is, when it comes to competition, BuyAFarm.com leaves them all in the dust. And that's no bull. So if you're serious about buying or selling large acreage property, call a team that you can trust. BuyAFarm.com. Call 800-443-1998.
Welcome back to RFD, Illinois. On a Monday, I'm DeLoss Yonke with the Corner Economist, Mike Doherty, Senior Economist at Illinois Farm Bureau. Hello, Mike.
Hey, DeLoss.
What do you got for me?
Creighton University, and you've mentioned Ernie Goss before as well, but some interesting, so this is a business conditions index, and Talking about some trade war issues.
So it's the same university Ernie Goss is at. And there's two different indexes they put out. Ernie Goss puts out one called the Rural Main Street Index. It comes out the third week of the month. It came out May 24th. But the other one is also from Creighton, which is their Mid-America Business Conditions Index. So that's west of us, but pretty indicative of downstate Illinois economy, because west of us, the economy start looking like downstate Illinois because you've removed Chicago from the picture. So a good indicator kind of what's happening. Kind of Illinois minus Chicago equals Iowa, you might say, right? Except we go further south. They don't have a watermelon and tobacco crop in the southern part of Iowa like we do in Illinois. But they in that Mid-America Business Conditions, they said that 1 in 8 manufacturers have reported switching suppliers to avoid tariffs that have been impacting on their supply chain, and that 2/3 of manufacturers have indicated that this trade war is making it more difficult to purchase overseas.
So let's see if there are consequences from this then. So if I'm surmising that your supplier is from China, I'm trying to avoid the tariff by going somewhere else, then that somewhere else can just raise their asking price a little bit, just so long as it's not as bad as the tariff. Exactly.
So there's a umbrella effect here, in which everyone gets to raise their prices in line with the tariff. All you have to be is a little bit less than the tariff, and so you come out, competitive. So when people say, oh, well, you just find a American manufacturer for that. Well, okay, you will transfer jobs back here, that's true, but you're going to increase the price. Mm-hmm. And when you increase the price in some of these products, you'll find a 40% drop-off in demand because of that increased price, too.
Well, you change the labor situation. Yes. And so that alone changes your spreadsheet, and so you have to charge more for it.
Yeah, and like you said, you can raise, they will, anybody who's competing is going to raise the price to just underneath that tariff.
So at that point, you're not paying tariffs.
You are.
It's like a de facto tariff, right? Is that what you call it?
Yes. So that gets over to the New York Federal Bank study, which was really a pretty amazing study. And, I know people out there are going to say, well, that's political or whatever. In this New York Federal Bank study, that is the lead bank within the system of 12, 14 federal banks across the United States. And it was authored by, what they did is went back to a study that was published in 2018 in the National Bureau of Economic Research, which is very respected. And they updated this study from last year and looked at what happens, and then they modeled what would happen if we go ahead with these tariffs on Mexico, this new round of tariffs. But so it's really two parts to their update. What was true they found in 2018, what could be true starting next Monday. On the impacts. So getting around to kind of what we're talking about is they found a 1-to-1 pass-through of tariffs into prices, U.S. products. So it basically means it's a tax. It's like paying a sales tax, essentially.
One thing that we talked about a couple of weeks ago, the stickiness of prices.
Yeah.
So that even if the tariffs went away,
yes,
prices are still sticky.
Probably, I would bet on it. Prices don't come right. Prices go up easier than they come down, and so you're going to have a long tail on this. And so there's another study out that's very interesting, or just more of an analysis, and it was in the Wall Street Journal last couple days, showing that with the new round of tariffs, that would roughly equal the 1973 oil crisis in the U.S.
Wow.
The oil crisis, which was when we were importing all our energy, virtually all our oil from the Middle East, and OPEC came in as a cartel and artificially raised prices and restricted supply, and oil prices went up. That set the table up for the United States going into a high inflation rate. By the end of that decade of the 70s, from 1973 to 1979, for the first time in a long time, the U.S. had an inflation rate that was double-digit. Gasoline prices were shooting up. Back then, everybody smoked, half the country smoked. Tobacco prices were going up. All these prices, even things that we did not import from the Middle East, started snowballing because what you got into what they call cost push inflation, or a supply constraint inflation. And that's the fear here, that we will end up replicating that kind of cost push inflation and get ourselves one or the other, either a built-in kind of inflationary cycle as people start, manufacturers, retailers start hiking prices in anticipation of tariff increases, or you get into what they call stagflation, in which you don't hike prices quite as much, but the economy slows down, people buy less, unemployment goes up. So under that scenario,
and people really buy less.
Yes, and possibly dropping by half. And so under that scenario, they were looking at a unemployment rate doubling from what it is now. By 2021.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, over the next 2 years.
But there's an election as that's going on at the same time, which is also.
So now we get the whole political thing.
The other thing about we've used the example of the appliance goes from $500 to $550. That means those $50 you're also paying more sales tax on that as well. So 9% you're paying another $4.50, and you multiply that by a number of times. And
kind of like an overhead as well.
That's corner economist Mike Doherty as we break for markets and weather.
With the RFD Ag Market Summary for this Monday morning, I'm Jim Taylor. Corn, beans, and wheat all ending Friday lower. July corn closing at 4.15 3/4, down 4 3/4. September corn down 5 1/4, 4.24 1/4, and December corn 4.33 3/4, down 4 3/4. July beans closing at 8.56 1/4, down 12 1/2. August beans down 12 1/4, 8.63, and September beans 8.70, down 12 1/4. July wheat closing at 5.04 1/2, down 5 1/2. September wheat down 4 3/4, 5.09 1/2, and December wheat 5.22 1/4, down 3 1/2. July bean meal $3.12.30, down 3.60. July bean oil $27.38, down 38 cents. In current electronic overnight trading, July corn down 3 1/4, September corn down 3 1/4, December corn 4.30 1/2, down 3 1/4. July beans in the overnight down 5 1/4, August beans down 5 1/4, September beans 8.64 1/2, down 5 1/2. July wheat in the overnight down 6 1/4, September wheat down 6, and December wheat down 6, 5.16 1/4. In the outside markets, August Brent crude oil $63.29, up 1.62 a barrel. The August gold contract down 13.70 this morning, 13.32.40. The livestock market from Friday, June lean hogs 78.65, down 72 cents. July lean hogs down $3, 83.35. June live cattle 106.92, down 67 cents. August live cattle down 150, 103.30. August feeders 137.25, down 202. September feeder cattle 137.35, down 225. Cash livestock, Walnut livestock auction last week, steers 120 the top. Illinois direct barrels and gilts trading steady on Friday at 48 to 54. And I'm Jim Taylor, the RFD Radio Network.
Good morning, this is Dan Hicks from Freezotis Weather with the early morning ag weather update on the RFD Radio Network for this Monday morning. Daytime highs in the 70s and 80s were common across the Midwest this past weekend. Two main weather systems brought some showers to Illinois. One a system over the southern U.S., which drifted slowly northward Friday into Saturday, producing some showers over the state. The second was a cold front moving in from the northwest during the past 24 hours, which produced some additional showers and thunderstorms across the region. Most weekend rainfall across Illinois was not all that heavy, with amounts since Friday a few hundredths to a half inch. Any heavier amounts were fairly spotty. Heavier rains did fall to the east and to the west of Illinois. Dry weather is expected across the region today and tomorrow, with cooler, drier air dominating the Midwest as Canadian high pressure builds in from the northwest. Daytime highs in the upper 60s and 70s are expected over the northern areas, with 70s and low 80s in the south, and good drying conditions are forecast over Illinois both today and tomorrow, with some sunshine and low afternoon humidity. This northwesterly flow will bring another cold front southeastward across the region by midweek. This will bring some showers and thunderstorms back into Illinois, especially Wednesday and Wednesday night. Heavy rainfall is not expected with this system, with most rainfall amounts in the 1/4 to 3/4 inch range. Additional Canadian air moving in behind the midweek system will keep temperatures below normal across the Midwest into late this week, and most areas will have a few dry days behind this system later on in the week. Another system moving in from the northwest will likely spread some showers and thunderstorms across the Midwest this weekend. Looking ahead into the 6 to 10 day time frame, it looks like near to above normal 6 to 10 day rainfall in the southern through eastern Midwest, with lighter rainfall amounts farther northwest. 6 to 10 day temperatures should be a little bit warmer, but near to slightly below normal. I'm Dan Hicks from Freeze Notice Weather.
Spring is here and things are buzzing. Farmers and pollinators are working together to help feed us. In fact, 1 out of every 3 bites of food we eat exists because of bees, butterflies, birds, bats, and other insects. Pollinators are important to our food system and the ecosystem overall. That's why farmers and those in the agricultural industry are working together to protect pollinators through education, research, and conservation efforts. Visit ilagformonarchs.org to join the buzz. That's ilagformonarchs.org.
As you prepare for planting season, remember your neighbors. Whether you're an applicator, grower, or beekeeper, use FieldWatch to register your farm and monitor for sensitive sites around you. FieldWatch is a free, easy-to-use online mapping tool. Consulting FieldWatch is now a requirement for the over-the-top use dicamba products. Communicating with your neighbors will help you protect your farm and the environment. Don't wait. Go online to fieldwatch.com. Growing agriculture. We grow best together.
All Ag.
All Illinois.
All Now.
There are a lot of smartphone apps out there, but do they have what's important to us here in Illinois? The Farm Week Now app does, and it's always at your fingertips. All Ag, all Illinois, and 24/7 where and when you need it for free. Go to your app or Play Store on your smartphone, hit search, type in Farm Week Now, that's one word, and download it today. Brought to you by Illinois Farm Bureau, where we're all about farm, family, and food.
Farm Week and FarmWeekNow.com journalist Dina Stroish connects rural routes for you. From the Farm Bill to crop insurance to GMO labeling, her expertise is apparent in the stories she reports. Here's a bit about her rural roots.
I get to meet interesting people and share their stories, and I get paid to do it. I cover ag policy and really enjoy keeping the farming community updated on these important issues.
Be it routes or roots, RFD Radio, FarmWeekNow.com, and Farm Week keep you connected.
That's all the time we have for RFD Illinois. Thanks for being with us.
Yes, and DeLoss, hey, let's salute a town.
All right, we'll say hello to Forest, not far from Carey's Place in Livingston County.
Okay.
What are the businesses, new businesses in Forest?
The cow catcher and the coffee steamer.
The cow catcher?
Yeah.
And the coffee steamer.
Yep.
And those are cousins, right?
Yeah.
Right. Those are good cousins, right? I mean, we all have those cousins, but these are good cousins, right?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Next time you're on 24, give them a look sometime. Brought to you by Country Financial. Your farm is your family's legacy, part of your hometown heritage. While you work sun up to sundown to get the job done, we're here protecting the things you love every step of the way. Country Financial at countrycrop.com.
For Jim Taylor, I'm Rita Frazier.
I'm DeLoss Yonke.
And I'm Carrie Slagle.